Scott Govertsen. To Govertsen inside. It'll be racing Jason Casey with the 324. Back in row number 12, we find Joe LaFlamme with the number 60, the Northeast Pest Control entry. He starts outside of, that's the 11th row, row 20, this 21 first starting position. The 311 of Brian Keough will start on the inside of that 11th row. Nick Arnold in the number 1 starts out outside row 12. Inside, the 73 of Dougie Olds. Ricky Duzlak in the 29 and Rick Dempsey in the 35 slated to round out your field. Neither will make a start, so it'll be 24 starters on tonight's racing program for the Pro Stocks. The King of Dirt Pro Stock feature event going green. Green flag is out as they make their way down here on the front straightaway. The 27 of Nick Stone going to show the way down here to turn number 1. John Routhier going to look down to the inside. Routhier trying to get a run on the bottom side. He's going to take that top spot away from Stone as they work their way down here to turns 3 and 4. Got one slow off turn 2. The 413 of Tommy Dean off the pace and heading off the track on the back straightaway as John Routhier brings him down here across the line to put lap number 1 on the board. Routhier, your leader. We got yellow out on the speedway. Yellow lights are on as the yellow comes out with 1 complete. Looks like a car down here in turn number 4. Debris, the reason for the caution, is now we can see it, the Bobco Racing video. Shot of, looks like a hood off of one of the cars that came off up in turn number 4. So that is going to be the reason for the caution. A hood off up in turn number 4. That is off Frank Twing's number 317 as we see the Wild Twing come by here in position number 6. Twing's hood up in turn number 4. Behind him, Nick Stone. Stone draws the pole. Then 10 markers behind Stone, 11 out of the number 1 spot. That's Kenny Martin with the 93. Chucky Dumblewski comes into tonight's event, 4th place in points. Jason Casey in 5th. We're going to be ready to go back to green. Green is out. Down the front stretch they come. Up in at turn number 1 they go. John Routhier going to pick up where he left off as they work off at turn number 2 down the back straightaway. Routhier, your leader, down the back stretch up into turn number 3. Up to the corner they go. Routhier in the top 10 in points coming into tonight's event in 8th spot as they come down here off of turn number 4. Routhier out front. Jay Casey riding in 2nd. Cars together here on the front straightaway. Around goes Tommy O'Connor. O'Connor going around. He and Richie Crane tangled here on the front stretch. And that brings yellow out on the speedway. So yellow is out. O'Connor sits here. O'Connor sits here on the front stretch. Rich Crane going to make his way into the pit area. Racing Shocks, Heiko Fabrication, Harrington Farms, Hoosier Racing Tire, JT's Screen Printing, Lazzaro's Auto Body, Mazda Parts Plus, Mayhem Motorsports, More to Music Entertainment, Mueller & Sons Towing, Recovery, Napa Auto Parts of Gloversville, Next Generation Roofing. As we get ready to go back to green, green is out. Green back up on the speedway with 2 laps shown complete. John Routhier picking back up where he left off. Down the backstretch with the lead. Yellow is out. Yellow lights coming back on around the speedway. So yellow lights back on the raceway. Looks like a no-start situation out here for the reason for this caution. Back to the sponsors on the 2 laps shown on the lap counter as they make their way down the back straightaway. The Team Go, a Lebanon Valley pace truck, going to pull away down the back stretch into turn number 3. He'll take a low line and a hard left-hand turn. Off of turn number 4, going to put it in the hands of John Routhier. Routhier going to have his crosstown neighbor now, Jay Casey, lining up next to him as they make their way down here off of turn number 4, coming down to the green flag. Green is out. Up into turn number 1 they go, up through the corner, now off of turn number 2. It is John Routhier showing the way, Jay Casey riding second, Steve LaRochelle back there in third, Frank Twing in fourth, and now here comes cousin Luke down to the inside. He and Nick Stone side by side down on the bottom side of the raceway. They make their way down here in front. Frank Twing literally under the back deck of Nick Stone's machine down here on the front straightaway. One car all the way up to the wall, Rooster tailed by Jason Meltz. Your leaders down into turn number 3, got a 3-car breakaway up on the front. 3 cars nose to tail up here off of turn number 4. Side by side, racing deep in the pack. 3 wide up here off of turn 4. Down to turn number 1 they go. Your leader continues to be John Routhier. Routhier in control up here off of turn number 2. Jay Casey rides in second. Third spot, Steve LaRochelle. As they work their way up here through turns 3 and 4, that's the way your lead trio come off the west end banking. Back in 4th spot, Frank Twing with the 317. He and Nick Stone come together here on the front stretch once again. You got a new leader off of turn number 2. Jay Casey has gone to the point. Casey now to the front as they go down to turn number 3. Jay Casey out front working his way up here off of turn number 4 as he pulls away from John Routhier. Casey, Routhier, and LaRochelle, your top 3. Frank Twing now starting to reel in that lead trio. He did trail that trio by a substantial amount. Now starting to close in on the backside of LaRochelle. Your top 2 cars now coming at it here off of turn number 4. Routhier not able to make a charge yet. Now he'll pull down to the inside. Routhier not about to let Jay Casey get away up here on the front. It's Casey and Routhier, your top 2. 3 cars back behind them. We find the 178 of LaRochelle. Then a couple of car lengths behind him, the 317 at Twing, and a side-by-side battle to round out your top 5 between the series point runners, Rob Yetman and Nick Stone. Stone leading Yetman by a position. He trails him by a point coming into tonight's event. That is a big race for position back there to round out your top 5. That's the battle for 5th. Back in 7th spot is where we find cousin Luke. Luke Horning right behind Stone and Yetman. As they come down here in front, Jason Casey making a charge from deep in the pack. Right now running up in the top 10. Casey currently rides an 8th. 9th spot is the 51 of Jason Meltz. The race for 10th now finds Nick Hilt Jr. trying to hold off a challenge by Ken Martin Jr. They come down here off of turn number 4. Casey now stretching it out a little bit up on the front as 10 laps are now on the board. 10 are in, 20 to go as they make their way up off of turn number 2. Down the back stretch, good racing back through the pack for position as they work their way down here through the corner. For the most part, single file. We'll see who's the next to step out of line and try and challenge for a spot as they come down here into turn number 1. Frank Twing now taking a look at the backside of Steve LaRochelle. Rob Yetman still looking at the backside of Nick Stone. Yetman not able to make a move on the Stone Motorsports number 27 machine. Both drivers using patience right now, riding back here 5th and 6th as they come down, and now Yetman gets into the backside of Stone here just past the flag stand. Stone hanging on for 5th, Yetman rides 6th, then we got a 3-car battle back there, 6th, 7th through 9th spot. They work their way down here off the corner. Got a car slow, almost stopped off turn 2. It's Nick Arnold. Arnold off the pace with the number 1 car, but he pulls back up in lane, and he will pull back away. We're going to stay clean and green. 13 on the board. It's all Jay Casey on the point. Jay Casey out front. Jonathan Routhier riding in second, unchallenged for that position. Got to go all the way back to spot number 5 to find a battle for position right now. That is still Nick Stone trying to hang on to it, and Rob Yetman trying to take it away. Then the 2H of Luke Horning going to feel pressure from Jason Meltz. Meltz looking down to the inside of Horning. Another good battle between Kenny Martin and the 17 of Nick Hilt. Meltz going to make a move on Horning, and he'll pick up the position here as they come to the halfway point. 15 in and 15 to go, and Yetman now going to show his nose to Stone. Yetman showed the nose, could not get up to the fender, as Luke Horning drops a position to Jason Meltz. Got another Jason right behind him. That is going to be the 324 of Jason Casey. Racing Jason had to start deep in the back, and he continues to make his way up in the top 10. Nick Arnold off the pace again down the back straightaway. Nick Arnold in the Wanted Digest sponsored entry. Going to make his way into the pit area off the backstretch entrance. Meanwhile, Rob Yetman has finally got by the 27 of Nick Stone. Yetman now will go to 5th spot. Stone back there in 6th. Jason Meltz just behind him, and Meltz now ducks down to the inside as they'll go side to side down the back straightaway. Ironic, it was Nick Stone that sold Jason Meltz a pro stock at the end of last year when he cut his teeth in this division. Nick Hilt Jr. will give up the 17 car, and now Luke Horning off the pace. Horning down to the inside here to turn number 1. He's hit the inner apron. Slowly rolling down here between turns 1 and 2. Nick Hilt Jr. off the track. Something going away on the 17 machine. Horning makes his way back down to the pit area with a left front flat. Brian Keough going to follow him in. As we're coming up on 10 to go this time by, it's going to be 20 in and 10 remain for Jay Casey as he comes down off of turn number 4. 20 laps now up on the board, 10 laps remaining here in this King of Dirt 30 lap event. And now Jonathan Routhier going to try and go back to work on the 322 of Jay Casey. Rob Yetman, meanwhile, has caught the 3rd and 4th place cars. He'll make it a 3-way race up there for 3rd spot as he pulls down low on Frank Twing here off of turn number 4. Now comes back up and pulls back in the tracks of the Wild Twing down here to turn 1. Twing dives low on LaRochelle, but pushes all the way up to the wall. That opens the inside lane for Yetman. Rob Yetman going to be your new 4th place man. Yetman goes to 4th, Twing back to 5th. As we've now got 22 on the board, they make their way down here across the line. Your lead duo down here to the east end, the 322 of Jay Casey and the 315 of John Routhier. Then it's a 3-way battle back there, 3rd through 5th spot, nose to tail right now as they take it up into turn number 3. Yetman looking down at the low line, going to try and make a challenge here for the 3rd spot. He is going after the 178 of Steve LaRochelle. While he works on LaRochelle, Routhier has mounted a challenge now on Jay Casey. Here's Routhier looking down to the inside of Casey. Casey up on the outside. He'll drift a little bit wide this time in turn 4. Routhier getting more speed and momentum off the inside lane this time, but going to fall short once again. He'll pull back up in the tracks of Jay Casey down here into turn number 1. Steve LaRochelle back there in 3rd, a distant 3rd, but now here's Routhier diving down to the inside off turn 2. A drag race down into the west end. Casey utilizing that outside lane, getting every bit of momentum, but sliding higher and higher and giving more momentum to John Routhier. 5 to go sign this time by. It's going to be 5 laps remaining as your leaders come off of turn number 2. Positions 3 through 6. Nose to tail, down the back straightaway, single file fashion. John Routhier backing it off a little bit here as Jay Casey brings him down off of turn number 4. Routhier maybe trying to cool the tires a bit for one last challenge. Here coming down to checkers. Got slower cars up ahead of your leader. Jay Casey going to catch the tail end of the field in a lap or two. That battle back there for third now. Looking at 3 wide down the back straightaway. 3 cars side by side, and yellow comes out on the speedway. Yellow lights are on. The 324 of Jason Casey shreds a tire here on the front straightaway. So Casey having looked like a right front go on the 324, and he was punishing that tire, that's for sure. He came from deep in the pack. Has made his way up well into the top 10 at the time, racing Jason, who started back in the 20th position. Track crew's going to pick up some of the debris down here on the front straightaway, the remainder of the tire that came off Jason Casey's 324. Have been turned off. We got 4 laps to go in this one. Jay Casey has been to victory lane many times here at Lebanon Valley Speedway. Looking to do it the first time as an invader as he comes in with the King of Dirt Series. Jay Casey going to bring the field down off of turn number 4 as they look to go to green. Green is out. We're back underway. Casey going to lead the way up here to turn number 1. He'll bring John Routhier with him. Back in third, Frank Twing, the wild Twing, going to roll off of turn number 2 in third. Jason Meltz moves the 4th spot. Rob Yetman there in 5th. Yetman looking down to the inside of Meltz. Down off the corner they come here on the front straightaway. Casey up on the front. Casey and Routhier separated by about a car length when they hit turn 1. Routhier got a good run coming off of turn 2 this time. Down the back straightaway, Yetman pulls down to the inside of Meltz. That's going to be the race for 4th spot. Side by side, they go through turn 3 and 4. Yetman on the inside, Meltz on the outside as they come to 2 to go. This time by 2 laps remaining. Jay Casey looking to bring this one home from the point. Casey working off of turn number 2. Routhier just a couple of feet off the back bumper. They work their way down the back straightaway up to turn number 3. The wild Twing now going to get a charge down into turn number 3. White flag flies this time by. The first to see it'll be Jay Casey. Casey down to turn number 1 as your leader. Jay Casey up on the outside, leaving daylight down on the inside for Routhier. Routhier going to get a run on him down the back straightaway. Side by side, they'll go to turn 3. Routhier on the inside and Casey on the outside. They're side by side for third as well as they come to checkers. Jay Casey and John Routhier to the line. Too close to call at the line. It looked like Casey beat Routhier by inches here on the front stretch. Routhier and Casey come across together. Frank Twing will finish in the 3rd spot as they make their way down the back straightaway. That is your King of Dirt Series Pro Stock feature event.
Wow, what a fantastic finish to that KOD event. And that's what we love to see here on the high banks of the Valley of Speed. Dan Martin making his way out of the tower. He'll be heading on down through and getting down in the victory lane to get a few words with tonight's Benjamin Moore Paints Ameripride Linen King of Dirt Pro Stock Touring Series event. Meanwhile, a lot of youngsters on hand here tonight. The Speed Chasers Kids Club Fun Bus rolls down in front. Along with it will come the Lebanon Valley Speedway Monster Truck. And we'll load up our winners out of the Kids Club into the Fun Bus and into the Monster Truck for their tour around the high banks of the Valley of Speed as part of our pre-race activities prior to our main event. The Dirt Car Big Block Modified feature coming up next will be our next racing action on the track. Once Victory Lane concludes, we'll go to our Drivers Point Fun 50-50 raffle ticket drawing. We'll do that down trackside. Get to our invocation and national anthem all before our main event the Benjamin Moore Paints Ameripride Linen Dirt Car Big Block Modified feature. Well, Jay Casey is rolling the 322 down into victory lane, so timing and scoring has said at that photo finish, Jay Casey picks up the win over Jonathan Routhier. And looking at the Brian Bedell Bits, the Book of Lebanon Valley Facts, the last time that Jay Casey has been to victory lane was 3 years ago in 2014. So this will add to his winning total, and let's see, Jay Casey has had 15 career wins. This will be win number 16 now for Jay Casey here, and that will tie him on the all-time win list for Pro Stocks with Henry Tanner for 7th on the all-time list. Jay is out of the car. Dan Martin is making his way down through the crowd into victory lane. We'll send it down track side to Dan Martin.
Well, thank you, John. Down here, the Jay's Landscaping Tree and Lawn, sponsored 322. It's been a while since I could shake this guy's hand in victory lane.
Yeah,
Tonight, you come back as an invader, but I got to say welcome home to victory lane at Lebanon Valley.
we kind of fell right back into place. It's a nice track, nice, smooth, fast. I thought I had a little problems there with Rudy. He was coming on strong on the bottom, and I think he had the right gear, and I just took advantage of the high side and just kept on rolling.
Well, now, you know, I always make mention that you guys don't live all that far away from each other, but to finish that close at the line, I think that's a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, Root's right down the road. His parents are right up the road, so we're pretty close.
Pretty close it was, and I'll tell you, what a race. I know we're going to talk to John in a minute here, but what a race down to the checkers there. And again, the track, as you said, a fast track here tonight. You guys had a fast race car. You haven't forgot a whole bunch about getting around here.
No, not at all.
And you've got some people I know you need to thank. You got a great group behind you.
Yeah, I got to thank my son, Jason Casey, who runs the 324. I got to thank Rob Fife. I got to thank Ben Bain. I have to thank Red Dog. I have to thank Adam, Todd Dudley. There's so many, and especially my wife, just for going along with us.
Jay, it's been a family affair. As long as I've been here, as long as we've been here, you've been here, and it's been a pleasure talking to you in Victory Lane. I think this one might go down in the book as one of the best.
Yeah, it was fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, your King of Dirt, Pro Stock Series event winner, Jay Casey. Jay going to make his way down for some photos. I'm going to grab Rudy over here as, well, they call you Rudy the Rocket. Tonight you had one rocket there. It just fell a little bit short, and I can't even show how short that was. I know you got a pretty good idea yourself, but what a race between you and Jay.
Yeah, it was an excellent race, racing with a guy from the hometown, Jay Casey. There were a bunch of great guys, and it was really fun racing against him. And I made a couple wrong adjustments out in the track and lost some brakes in the back, and Jay snuck by me, and I was trying to figure out a way to reel him in.
Well, you reeled them in. The two of you racing for the top spot for a long time, bringing it right down to checkers. Won that close. You want to get that top spot, but I guess seeing a finish like that, you got to just be happy to be part of it.
Yeah, I definitely was. There's nothing more I can ask for. The car was great. It was a little bit of driver error.
Well, Johnny, I know you got some people you need to thank as well. You got some great sponsors that have been behind you for years, and I'll give you the opportunity to thank them as well.
Okay, I'd like to thank my crew, my friends, my family. I couldn't do it without them. My sponsors, Green Acres Landscape and Cranes Outdoor Power Equipment, Meltz Lumber, Gent Wood Products, Spready Fabrication, A&C Performance, CNC Plumbing. The list goes on. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody. Munson Satellite. And just like to thank all my sponsors.
Great run tonight. Congratulations on the second place finish. That was John Routhier, our second place finisher. We got the next guy in line down here. I made mention to Jay Casey. I said, welcome home. Welcome home. I know it's not where you wanted to be on the front stretch, Frank, but the Wild Twing is back in the house. Good to see you, my friend, and a good run tonight.
Hey, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I got the hood off really fast so I could keep it cool. Brakes started going away toward the end, and that last caution, I needed that. My tire right rear was pretty well warm and going away on me. But then I looked and I realized we were going back to double file restarts, and I said, uh-oh, I'm on the bottom, I'm in trouble. And I don't know if maybe Steven missed a shift coming out of 4, because I seem to get by him pretty easy. But I tell you what, running a flat track all year, boy, I can go into these turns hard now. The car felt great. You know, I got to thank too. The promoter of Glen Ridge Speedway. I wouldn't even have a motor in the car this year if it wasn't for him. He stepped up and we put a deal together. I wouldn't have been racing at all. But Ray Helgas, Digger Dan, HEO Sports, Reggie and Crystal. Who else we got on here? We got third generation, my nephew Pete, Stan. And, geez, I haven't had a whole lot of practice doing these lately, so.
Well, we haven't done it in a while, but again, it was nice to see you back here, Frank. Always great to see you back at the Valley. I know you got a lot of fans here, and tonight to put on a good run like that, got to feel pretty darn good.
Yes, it feels real good, and I'll tell you what, it feels good to be parked up behind these guys, because, you know, we all know each other, we're all local. I actually got to thank John Routhier. He's helped me out a lot with his store over the years. So it's good. I like these 3 cars sitting here. It looks pretty good to me.
That's the Wild Twing. Congratulations, Frank, on a 3rd place finish. We'll get you up for the podium.
I just want to thank all the fans, because without you fans, we don't have a sandbox to play in.
And that is the bottom line. Go get your picture taken, Frank. Good to see you. Got a couple of our Pure Stock winners. Going to send it over to Marty Kelly III.
Well, thank you, Dan. We got a whole bunch of interviews to plow through here. A couple of the Meltzes, Jeff, Big Daddy tonight, and we're going to grab Jason from last week if we can. We'll have Richie Crane come out from last week if we can. And we got a whole bunch of stuff to go through here. I got to sort through the crowd of people. Jeff, congratulations. You're having a great year. A couple wins this year. Of course, my mind goes back to your win on the Eve of Destruction, and you were able to hold off Gary for the win tonight.
Oh, thank you. It was a great night. My family's here tonight. My Aunt Gail from Florida and Aunt Nancy. And we're just having a lot of fun.
Well, who do you got to thank on a win, Jeff?
I'd like to thank my 2 sons, my wife, my whole family,